Welcome to another episode of the Nutrition Know-How video series, where I take different topics around the nutrition world and break them down. But I do it in a way that's designed to make it applicable for you. A simple, easy, understandable explanation so that you can figure out and understand how to best put these things into practice in your life. You know how to move your body. You know how you stay active and work out. Activity isn't what stops us from feeling comfortable and confident in the body that we're in. It's nutrition. We don't know how to balance good foods with bad foods. We don't know how to enjoy good foods and see results. And that's why these videos are made, to help you. Today I want to break down the very first step in this process. Something that you can do to start eating healthy without tracking even portion sizes, without looking at any calories or macros or grams on a label. It's by eating whole, minimally processed foods. Because a study was done and found that 60% of calories consumed by Americans are processed. 90% of those calories are sugars. That's a lot of processed food. That's a lot of sugar that we're taking in as a society. But what is processed? How do we know? Because when you go to the grocery store, to be honest, there really isn't much that isn't processed. Processed, as a general term, means that the food has undergone some type of process to prepare it for sale, to prepare it for storage. So the veggies that are not processed, that are on the shelves, that have been washed, that maybe have had some, whether it be natural or unnatural chemical applied, have been processed. But there's a difference in degree of processing. There are the minimally processed foods, those produces, that do get washed, that do get cleaned, prepared in a minimal way so that they are on the shelf ready to go for your consumption. Then there are the ultra-processed foods that undergo multiple processes of taking things in and adding, taking things out and adding things in. But what's good for us? Where does that balance lie? Well, the slight processing of produces isn't bad, because the reality is that many of us aren't going to pull our vegetables or pull our fruits out of the ground. We aren't going to slaughter our meats in our backyard. That's just not the way that the American culture is. And that's okay. That slight processing isn't what I'm talking about. When I talk about switching to whole, minimally processed foods, I mean eliminating those ultra-high processed foods. Take a look at the back of the label of your next food. See how many ingredients are in that product. If you can stick in that 3 or less range, you're probably at a good set point. But it's when you look at a label and there's 5 or more, or this bulky list of ingredients on the back, where things start to become a little troublesome. There are lots of additives. There are lots of words that we can't pronounce. It's gone through several processes and maybe stripped of its nutritional content. Those are the foods that we want to step back from. A good rule of thumb is to think if it swam in the ocean, walked on the earth, or flew in the skies, that's what you want to take into your diet. We love to have boxes and cans in the cupboards for simplicity, because we're a culture of convenience. And I'm not saying don't ever eat those, but the simplest thing that you can do to start eating healthier is to reduce those. Try to fill up your fridge more. Eat the food that you have during the week and have something as an emergency source in the cupboard. Because we don't want to deplete ourselves of nutrients. And that's what happens when we consume too many processed foods. We clog or plague our gut because of these chemicals or items that have been added in. We decrease absorption. We hurt our natural digestive processes. And it leads to a lot of inflammation and bloating. And I don't know about you, but I don't like feeling bloated. If you want your gut to process optimally, to absorb all of the nutrients, one, we need to make sure that our food has the right amount of nutrients. And two, we need to make sure that it's cleared and cleaned so that it can pull those nutrients in. They're not all bad. A lot of these processes for processed foods have been designed to retain proteins. Some foods add vitamins and minerals back in to enrich them. And that's not bad. But we want to keep that ingredient list short. I have seen clients lose 4 to 10 pounds in a matter of 2 weeks by simply making a shift from ultra processed to minimally processed. Oh, well, I started to move more. Oh, well, I started working out, so it's probably from that. No, it's your gut clearing itself out. Having the ability to digest and process the foods the way that it's supposed to. Your gut and your body is now doing its job. That needs to be step number one. Because that's something that you can carry all through life. Whether you're tracking macros, you're tracking calories, whether you're just following the handful diet. Knowing what is and is not processed, or what is and what is not suitable, you're going to be much better off for your weight loss results, but also how your body feels. Thanks for tuning into this episode of the Nutrition Know-How video series. Look for processed foods in your cupboards and maybe get rid of them. Go to the store and try to pick as fresh and natural ingredients as you can. Because right now, that's the simplest and most important step that you can take in encouraging yourself to eat healthy long term.